Now that we've been introduced to a lot of things about CSS, let's start actually using it. So we're going to go to the editor, and this file TSS layout was the one that was provided in the starter code, and we're not going to mess with that file. So instead, go to the TSS_styles, and in here is where we're going to start adding code. Now, first off, notice what we see. We see comments, and this is the one way you can do comments in CSS. Some languages let you do in multiple ways, but in CSS, this is the way you get to do comments, and that's with the /*, and then it ends with a //. And it can be over multiple lines, as it is in this first one, or it can be on a single line, as it is on the others. Well, the first thing that we want to do, and we want to do this at the very top, is we want to identify the character set. Now remember, we did this when we were in HTML. And the way we did it in HTML was in the meta tag, where we set the character set. Well, we want to do this in CSS too, and we're going to do it at the top, but we'll do it a little bit different. This time we use an @ sign, and we choose character set, and then there's no equal sign. It's just inside quotes, you'll put UTF-8. And there we've specified the character set. And we want to add that on top of all of them. Oops, I didn't want to replace everything. There you go. So that's what we want to have in there. Then next, notice that the author has identified different places to put different styles. So the styles that are related to HTML body will go here. The ones that are related to the different headings, that'd be H1, H2, H3 through H6 will go here. And then they've just separated it so you'll keep the styles kind of organized and grouped together. And that'll be easier to find them and to be able to change them. We'll start with the HTML and body styles. Let's write a style block for the HTML tag. So the selector is going to be HTML. When we do that, what we're referring to is an individual HTML element, and specifically this one. So it's this HTML element. Notice how big it is, like it's the whole thing, right? So we're applying this style to the HTML element, and we're going to use the property background color. So background color, this is one of the color properties, and it's going to set the color of the background. And for this one, we're going to use an HSL, and the first value is 27. The second one is 72%. That's the saturation. And then 72% for the light as well. All right, so now when we add that, we click Save. Notice I'm getting a red squiggly. That usually is an indication of an error, so let's stop and deal with that. And it says, HTML tells us the specificity, but it says semicolon is expected. Well, this is our first style rule, except for our character set, and I forgot to put the semicolon, so go ahead and add the semicolon up there, and then our HTML style block works better. All right, I'm going to save this, and then I'm going to go refresh the web page, and nothing happened. So what are we missing here? Well, what we're missing is we have not connected it to the HTML file. So how do we do that? Well, again, we use a link tag. But this time we're going to set the href to the one that we're working on. It is also still in the styles folder, and now it's the TSS_styles. And then we want to do the relationship, and this relationship is style sheet. And then that's the end of that link. So, all right, now let's save it and see what we get. Now when we refresh, now notice that we've got this background everywhere. Does that mean that this is an inherited property? Because now this paragraph has the background, the UL has the background. Let's go check the CSS reference on this. So if we look at the CSS reference and we look for background color, so there's background color, and we look at it, and it actually says, no, this is not an inherited property. So how come we're seeing it all the way through? It's because the default value is transparent. So the default background for the paragraph and for the UL is transparent, so you see through it. And the HTML background is for the whole thing. Then the paragraph the background is transparent, you see through it. And so it's showing up on the entire page. And that's what happens. And that's the background then of the HTML.